welcome back to my channel. It's Kimi here. Today we're going to be making the perfect dish for Thanksgiving. Stay tuned to see what it is and to see how it's made. So today, if you guessed it, we're going to be making a garlic cheesy mac and cheese. So obviously it doesn't take that many ingredients. Over time you actually learn how to do it. I used to follow a recipe, but now I add my own twist to it and I know it like the back of my hand. So we just have mozzarella cheese, mild cheddar, Parmesan. But the thing about this recipe is it's very versatile, so you can use whatever type of cheese you want. I heard Gouda is really good, but I couldn't find any. We have breadcrumbs, obviously mac and cheese, a stick of butter, garlic, and milk. And I will be adding spices in here because, you know, we don't do just salt and pepper. So I'm gonna be adding more seasoning and stuff, and I'll show you guys that. And all of the measurements and everything are gonna be in the link down below, and I'll see you on the flip side. Okay, so to start off, we're gonna be making our crispy breadcrumbs for the top that we're gonna set aside later. But first you start with a stick of butter. You're actually gonna need more than one stick of butter because you're also gonna need butter for the garlic. Just gonna let that melt. Okay, once the butter is completely melted, we're gonna add our breadcrumbs. So you just basically want to toast these and give them that buttery flavor that they need. You want to let that brown for a little bit. You'll know when it's ready. Okay, so now our breadcrumbs have been toasted, and we're just gonna set it aside for later when the mac and cheese goes into the oven. But now, in the same exact pot, we're gonna be toasting our garlic. I have 3 garlic cloves here that I'm just gonna put in the pan with some more butter. Okay, so in here I have about half a stick of butter. So I'm just letting it melt as well. And my garlic. I actually would use a little bit more garlic, but I actually use a little bit more garlic powder later on. And also you don't want it to be overpowering. I'm just gonna add that in there. I have the pot to about low heat because you don't want your you don't want your garlic to burn. So you have to keep an eye on it. I don't know if you guys can see it. So as you can see, it's kind of cooking a little bit fast, so just keep an eye on it. I've burnt my fair share of garlic. So an ingredient I forgot to mention earlier was flour, because this is very essential in creating your roux, which is basically like a paste that you create that will thicken the sauce, because we are making a cheese sauce, so you need your flour. So as you can see, I have allowed my garlic to overcook a little bit, but that's okay. You know, we're not perfect, but we're just gonna continue on and add our flour. So I just turned my heat off only because my garlic has overcooked a little bit. So you want to make sure you whisk that flour and roux well. We're going to turn it back on because the flour does need to cook. It's raw. So you just want to keep adding flour until it thickens up. So at this point, I've mixed in all my flour. So we're just gonna allow this to cook for a little bit. It doesn't take very long, probably like 30 seconds. I just wanna cook it a little bit. I have it on medium heat now. It is a beautiful brown color right now, so I just wanna cook it. And I still have my whisk on hand. Don't throw that in the sink quite yet, because we still have to add in our milk. Okay, so now before we burn our flour, you want to start adding in your milk. You want to incorporate it very slowly because, you know, we don't want lumps. So the milk does kind of disappear, but as you can tell, it is coming into, the dough is becoming a little softer. Patience is key. Okay, so I'm still adding milk. It does take a second. You need to have a lot of patience. It is hurting my shoulders right now. You gotta keep going.
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
Keep adding and adding and adding. And it seems like it's a lot, but honestly, it kind of is. So. And keep in mind, you have to keep your heat on. So that's why you want to consistently stir so the bottom does not burn. That is the last thing you want right now. I said medium to low heat, low to medium heat is the perfect temperature. And this right here makes a good amount of sauce. So you have to have enough cheese for the amount of sauce you're making. Keep all this in mind. You can double this, triple this, cut it in half, whatever. I usually, if I'm cooking for a big group of people, like for Thanksgiving, I'll probably make twice the amount that I am right now, today. So here, this is a good consistency. You don't have to, you know, keep whisking as much anymore because the lumps are gone. As you can see, it's very, very smooth. And you just want to add the rest of the milk you have remaining, which should be about a cup and a half. Okay, so now that our roux is incorporated and we have our milk all mixed in and everything, you just want to kind of simmer it. You don't want to boil it necessarily, because if you know anything about milk and cooking together, is milk burns pretty fast. And again, you don't want that because it will start to form like a skin on top. So just make sure you keep mixing a little bit. Oh, and don't be like me. Make sure you start your macaroni, not your mac and cheese, your macaroni noodles. So I'm gonna go do that. Okay, so side note, make sure you salt your pasta water, please. Again, another mistake I've made in the past. I've seasoned my cheese sauce to perfection. I've done everything right with the cheese sauce, but then I made the pasta, completely forgot to put salt. I know, it's like basic. And my pasta ended up bland. Like I said, I learned and now I'm telling you. So when you make this, you know exactly what to do. And second thing, like I said, this recipe is very versatile. So you can actually make this into a gluten-free dish. So I think that sounds pretty nice. I feel like lately a lot of people have been gluten-free, and I'm sure you can make it dairy-free. I've never done that. But yeah, let me know how you like it, and please try it. Oh, And I've started my pasta. So now that your sauce is perfect and it's the perfect texture and everything, it's time to add the seasoning. So here, if I'm focused, I have cayenne pepper. Just gonna add a little bit, just a little bit. It's a little spicy. And then I have Goya adobo. I don't measure my spices. I think I get it from my mom, but I don't ever measure spices. I just do it, you know? Nike style. Not sponsored. Okay, now I have pepper. Just a little bit. You can add white pepper if you don't want to see like the granules in them, but who cares? Of course, salt. This is the only one I kind of want to like be careful of, only because it's salt. And then you're also getting a little bit of flavor from your cheeses. All seasoning, more salt. A little bit, not too much of that. And we have paprika. Not too much of that either. Onion powder. Just a little bit of that as well. Garlic powder. Even though we already added garlic, I like garlic, so we're gonna add some of that. And this is the one you don't overdo it. Okay, that's it. And now mix it in. Okay, so you want to make sure your heat is still on low and you're stirring. You want it to be nice and warm / hot for our cheese, because next we're going to add our cheeses, or whatever cheeses you'll be using. I'm sure it'll be delicious. Okay, so now it's time to add in your cheeses. You actually want to turn your heat off at this point and just let the remaining heat melt your cheese. So here I have my Parmesan, the whole thing, and then again you can add as much as or little as you want. You just want to make sure that it's good enough. I know a lot of people like theirs extra cheese in. You also want to save a little bit for the top with the breadcrumbs, so I usually like to keep a little bit of cheddar and a little bit of mozzarella for the top. I'm just keeping a little for the top. So now we have the mozzarella. And obviously I'm not adding all of this. I'll probably just add a few handfuls with my clean hands. So now that our cheese is nice and cheesy, it's time to add the macaroni. It's sad for a little bit, but don't worry. It's all good. Okay, so you just want to mix that in. Now look at that.
Wet and cushy, now make it rain if you wanna see some.
And you can add whatever seasoning, whatever you want to this. This thing for average auntie's mac and cheese. So as you can see, our mac and cheese almost barely fit. But now we're back to the breadcrumbs. You may or may not use all of this, but just sprinkle that on top. We're gonna toss it in the oven. We're also gonna add cheese on top as well, if you haven't had enough cheese. I hope you're not lactose intolerant. But anyway, we're gonna throw this in the oven on low broil until it gets nice and bubbly. Everything's already cooked, so you don't have to worry about certain temperatures or like cooking it through. You just want it to be nice and pretty. And you honestly don't have to do this step. You can just completely skip this and not even have breadcrumbs at all. So yeah, I'm adding some cheddar cheese. I decided not to add mozzarella. But we're just gonna add the cheese and it's gonna go right into the oven. Our mac and cheese is out of the oven now. I left it in for a second, a little too long, but it's okay. We're not perfect. And now we're gonna serve it up so you guys can see what's on the inside. Are you jealous? I will be. Because this is delicious. Not delectable, because some people hate that word, but delicious. Honestly, I think you all should try this. For those who've already had it from me before, I'm sorry that you're not getting it this year. Please make it on your own, or maybe I'll slide it out of the door. I hope you guys try it out. This recipe is delicious. It goes with anything. You don't have to only have it for Thanksgiving. You can have it for Christmas, your birthday, a random time throughout the year. And I hope you guys like this video. Please like the video, subscribe, come back next time, and I'll see you guys next time. Did I repeat myself? Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.